All right, Kalina, thank you so much. As a federal judge is expected to rule on a lawsuit aimed at ICE raids taking place across SoCal, LA's mayor announcing her own directive.
It would harden the stance she's already taken against federal immigration activity. KCAL News reporter Rick Montanez is live in downtown LA, where Mayor Bass is expected to sign the order, and she's supposed to speak soon. We're not quite there yet, though.
We're here in the historic Pico House Hotel, built in 1870. This is the first three-story building in Los Angeles, built by Mexican Governor Pio Pico. And we're also in front of the historic plaza, the city's first open space from 1815, our beloved Placita. While we are proud of our city's heritage, this is also a space of difficult history that unfortunately shares a stark parallel to what we're seeing today. In 1931, our plaza here was the site of the forced repatriation of U.S. citizens of Mexican heritage, where raids occurred on unsuspecting visitors to Olvera Street. It's a sad history, but a powerful reminder of what we're facing today. The fear and trauma of so many back then has once again been awakened across our city. But there's also another history, one rooted in hope, unity, and solidarity. Here was where in the 1980s, Father Luis Olivares of the iconic Placita Church, just across the street, initiated the sanctuary movement, declaring the Placita as a sanctuary and safe space for all immigrants and refugees. And myself, as a child of immigrants, I recall those days as an LA kid. I will never forget the news coverage of our own Mayor Tom Bradley standing side by side in solidarity with the sanctuary movement. And so today, I want to thank our Mayor Karen Bass for being here at El Pueblo, continuing that tradition of leadership and resilience. Here at the very heart of Los Angeles, we're here to support you in all efforts to protect our immigrant communities. Thank you, Mayor Bass.
Good morning, everyone, and thank you so much for recalling that tradition. You were a young child, I wasn't, but I remember Father Olivares very well and remember that movement, and that movement continues today and is represented by the people who are standing here with me. So the organizations that are represented, and some you will hear speak today, CHIRLA, the Salvadorian American Leadership and Educational Fund, the Asian Pacific Islander Equity Alliance, Community Coalition, Inclusive Action, and SEIU USWW, continuing the tradition of solidarity in our city. I am here today to sign an executive directive, and I just want to point out the irony for a minute, that there is a need for me to have an executive directive to help our city understand how to protect itself from our federal government. Just let that sink in for a minute. What we have seen here over the last now going on 6 weeks of raids that pop up and we never know exactly when and where they're going to happen. We've seen them in the general region. I'm sure many people saw Camarillo yesterday and what broke out there. We saw MacArthur Park earlier this week, which I think now, after all assessments, it is viewed as just a display of force, just to put the city in its place, to say we are the federal government, we can roll out troops whenever we choose. So the executive directive that I will be signing in a few minutes is to help the city family, to help the city workforce, to help the city departments and all of the general managers essentially develop preparedness plans that have specific protocols and that help city workers know how to address immigration officials should they approach a city department. How we abide by the law, but we understand what our rights are as city employees, how we can provide protection for immigrants who might be attending a city event or at a city property, but we stay within the law. That we make sure that people that work with city contractors ensure that they are safe on city property. So you might have heard that a few days ago there were city contractors who were working and ICE rolled up on them and asked for ID and was inappropriate. And so even people that contract with the city, we want them to understand what their rights are. We want each department to have an immigration affairs liaison, and we want each department that if they encounter any federal officials, that they contact the city, especially the mayor's office, right away, so that we can, number one, make a count of this, but also make sure that all the city departments and city workers are informed on how to deal with this. We also want to disseminate information on city services and assistance programs for families that are impacted by federal enforcement actions. And we are submitting a FOIA, a Freedom of Information Act request regarding the dates and locations of all enforcement activities in Los Angeles. I think you've heard me repeat every time I speak before you that when people are taken from our city, we do not necessarily know where they are going. They are not provided regular access to families or to legal counsel, and that the family members that are left behind don't know whether their family members are in the city, in the state, or even in the country. And we also know that when these raids have been happening, it's not just people who are undocumented, but people who are in the country legally, people who are showing up for their annual immigration visit, or even sometimes U.S. citizens who have been detained. So once again, I just want to repeat the irony that I am going to sign an executive directive to help the city family understand how to protect the workforce and Angelenos from our federal government. With that, I would like to introduce Angelica Salas from CHIRLA, the Coalition for Humane Immigrant Rights of Los Angeles.
Thank you so much, Mayor Bass, and thank you so much for your leadership and for standing with us this entire time. So really want to say thank you. At a time when immigrant families across the city are living in growing fear and uncertainty, Mayor Bass takes action today to reaffirm Los Angeles.
All right, we're going to keep listening to this press conference that we've brought to you right now, where Mayor Karen Bass announced her executive directive to support immigrant communities. And is additionally requesting records from the federal government on what she calls unlawful raids from federal agencies. The directive actually calls for city departments to be better prepared for federal immigration activity on city property by bolstering protocols and training for these types of incidents. This press conference is going to go on. There's many more speakers coming up. We'll continue to watch it in the news. We'll bring you anything if there's a development that happens. And of course, when Mayor Bass goes to sign that executive order, we'll bring that to you as well.